This is a continuation thread of previous adventures between Raven and Serenity. The two girls projected themselves into Serenity's mind in order to fight the shadows in her mind, named Carrie. Currently, they are in Serenity's subconscious mind, in the castle of memories, facing Carrie.
Serenity felt herself shaking, breath-catching. She stared at Carrie, and it was as if she were looking in a horrible mirror. Black hair, shadow-covered eyes, pale skin, and a maniac grin. Carrie was everything Serenity never wanted to be. "You're not real!" Serenity shouted, still trembling. She needed Carrie gone, needed her mind back. She couldn't live with this thing, this disease living inside her. Carrie cocked her head to the side. Her shoulders started rocking, then shook as she tipped her head back and laughed.
"Not real!"
Carrie cried.
"Not real? I am you, Serenity. How many times have I told you that? I am you. I am your mind, your powers."
"No! You're my weakness. You're evil." At this, Carrie stopped. Her shadowed eyes narrowed and the smile finally dropped.
"Your weakness? Evil?"
The shadows around the room started shaking, and the constant noise of the memories grew louder, as if the frames were agitated. Serenity felt shivers run down her back. Carrie continued in a quiet voice.
"No, Serenity. I am your strength. I am the deepest instincts in your mind and the darkest part of your shadows. I am all you want and what you can be. I am you."
And then Carrie turned suddenly and sent a shadow spear right for Raven.
This, Raven reflected, was why she had left the heroing business. Because for every grand victory, she had always known that there would be a battle she would not, could not, win. And perhaps this was it. There was no clear way to defeat Carrie, not without destroying Serenity as well. As much as Raven hated to admit it, the Shadow Girl was right. Carrie was Serenity's power. Out of control, mad from its own lust and greed and life. But her, and if she was left as she was, she would take over. Serenity, as Raven knew her, would die. For a single dark moment, Raven wondered to herself, would it be better to end it all now with the mercy stroke, kill Serenity before Carrie takes over, let her die as herself, rather than a monster? The thought was fleeting, though, and Raven quickly locked it away. She would not go there, not now, not ever. They would fight until they won or until they died trying. That was how they had always lived before, and it would not stop now. But that still left the question, what to do? Raven started funneling energy into Serenity. She filled her friend with peace and calm, helping her to think before acting, making a bubble of sanctuary around her friend. She was focusing so much, though, she didn't see the spear until it was almost too late. It loomed in her peripheral vision, and when she tried to dodge, it seemed she moved at slow motion. The weapon was made of shadows, but the blade was razor-sharp and sliced through her left arm, ripping flesh and fabric alike. When she cried out, it sounded distant, like someone else's voice. She knew that back in the real world, a likewise wound had appeared on her real body. If it was too bad, the shock might kill her, or she could bleed out before her spirit returned to her body. They needed to finish this fast, or Raven would be forced to abandon her friend. There would be no choice. Raven lay on the floor of the castle in her friend's mind, breathing heavily. The pain was excruciating, but she forced herself to separate herself from it, thinking. "Serenity!" she yelled, suddenly terrified. She could see nothing but the ceiling. What if her friend had been gotten too? "Serenity!"
"Raven!" Serenity screamed. She felt her stomach drop as her friend called out for her, terrified that she would lose her friend or that she would be stuck here, by herself, surely doomed against her darker side. She turned blue eyes onto Carrie, glaring. "Leave her alone!" When it came to her friends, Serenity was extremely protective, and of course Carrie would go after her best friend. Rushing forward, the shadows came together in her hands to form a sword. Though not very skilled at swordsmanship, she swung the blade at Carrie. The Shadow Girl looked surprised but jumped out of the way, grinning wildly.
"Now for some fun,"
she asked, head tilted ever so slightly, giving her an insane look. It would have been impressive in another situation. A Gatling gun formed in her hands. Despite the immense size and supposed weight, Carrie held it easily and began to shoot. Serenity instinctively brought up shadows, forming a barrier. The shadow bullets ricocheted off of it, while Carrie laughed. Serenity made the shield grow and move as she ran to where Raven lay. While they were both protected, she looked at her wounded arm. "I'm sorry," Serenity apologized, somehow feeling responsible, like she should have known Carrie's plan. "Are you okay?" Carrie, tired of just shooting on a wall, yelled out,
Come on, coward! Are you just going to hide from me?
Raven's irrational fear kept growing inside her as she heard the sounds of battle. But she had fallen badly and couldn't move to see what was going on. Her breathing only returned to a semblance of normalcy when Serenity appeared, very much alive, at her side. Swinging her good arm up and latching onto Serenity's shoulder, Raven slowly dragged herself into a sitting position, craning her neck, looking around cautiously. The black shield surrounded them, but the sound of bullets echoed eerily off the barrier. That, and Carrie's maniacal laughter. "Good shield," Raven said huskily, complimenting her friend. "Did I teach you how to do that?" There had been a lot of trading tricks over the years between the two of them. It was hard to remember. Especially now Raven's head felt muffled and cottony. Shaking it, as if that would clear it, she said thickly, "The longer this draws out, the worse we are. This is her home turf now." Raven swallowed and glanced ruefully at the gash on her arm. "We can't kill her, can we? What do we do? Can she be knocked out? Do we put her to sleep, lock her up?" Raven was breathing heavily with the exertion of sitting up. Vaguely she was aware of the blood running in rivulets down her arm. "What can I do?"